It changes everything. Here in Texas, we had some wise counsel. I'm reminded to share with you a piece of information that was taught to me about 2 years ago now. Someone said, Deborah, you know, that First Amendment Bill of Rights, we all talk about freedom of press, religion, speech. We don't give much credence to the freedom of assembly that's listed there. He said, do you know why the founders put that in? That First Amendment. It's wisdom. The reason for a free assembly is because the founders understood there was wisdom in the minds of men. You bring people together and you talk about the problems that you're facing, and you'll find solutions that you alone would never come up with. And as we began to put wise counsel around this campaign to find a way to do the impossible, one on our team said, you know, there are a lot of people in Texas that vote Republican in November, but they stay home in March. If you can find those people and you can turn them out in March, you win this race. Your math skills don't have to be rocket science level to know 3 times more voters means you win the race. 3 times more people have voted this week in the Republican Party primary in Texas than have ever voted in the gubernatorial primary before. Home thinking it's over. It ain't over till it's over, baby. We got another week. We got Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Yeah, I was counting 2000. And the day of the election. We got 8 days of voting left. If you haven't voted, please go vote tomorrow. If you haven't voted, please go vote tomorrow. If you have any time that you can spare between now and March 2nd, and you've already voted, please go stand at a polling place with the Medina for Texas t-shirt on and thank those that are coming to vote and ask them to vote for Debra Medina for governor. Electioneer at a polling place. And then probably the most important thing for you to do is make a list of people that you know that think like you do, that are likely to support this campaign. And while I wished we could trust one another, I've been a Republican county chair for too long. I've looked at voter roll after voter roll, and I know people will look you in the eye and tell you they voted when they haven't. You make a list of people that you know support this campaign, and if you're really efficient, you'll find 3 or 4 other people and you'll ask them for their list, and then you'll play Santa Claus and you'll go down to the election administrator's office and you'll check that list. And if your friends have already voted, you'll cross their name off. But if their name ain't on that list yet, I don't care if they told you in Sunday school class that they voted. I don't care if you run into them in the grocery store and they told you they voted. If their name ain't on the list, they haven't voted. And you pick up the phone and you call them and you get them to go vote, and you don't let up until they go vote. Now, don't be calling people with Rick Perry bumper stickers on their car. And don't be calling people with Kay Hutchison. Somebody posted on our website, We Texans, early voting and primary is March the 2nd. Everybody else, y'all vote on March 3rd. Gosh, that was a hard thing. I'm so into fairness and justice. Whenever I first heard that in campaign school, I was like, you can't do that. This is about restoring a constitutional republic. They don't call political campaigns by accident. Campaign is a military term. This is a war. We've been talking about a war for the hearts and minds of people in conservative circles for years. This is a war. Be smart and work hard, and we will win. We are this close. I want to encourage you to let you know that this campaign that wasn't going to affect anything, that was maybe going to get a couple points, that was maybe going to cause a runoff, that was maybe going to be in a runoff, has the eyes of the country focused on Texas. I got a letter from a man that's running for Congress in Oklahoma last night. Their primary is in July. His whole campaign team is coming to North Texas next week to work this election. You've got two guys over here that drove 8 hours from Arkansas just to come hear what's going on in Texas. Texas has led the United States of America in promoting the ideas of freedom and prosperity for generations. And we have the opportunity to do that again. This country is suffering in an economic recession, not because it's one of the inevitable things that happens, but because we have poor political policies and ideas. When we get back to the principles of the Constitution, when we get the government off of our back, when we restore true private property ownership in Texas, we'll see prosperity returning. We'll see dreams again. That conversation with that congressman we're talking about nullification, I had been asking for some months, suggesting I wasn't sure where to start the battle. Do we begin to chip away at the federal intrusion into education, or do we start with the federal intrusion into ag, or do we start with the intrusion into energy? Where do we begin to fight that intrusion, and can we find a place that if we can knock out that pillar, several others will crumble besides, and we'll get the federal government out of our lives? And the congressman said, well, you might set your sights on the EPA. My daughter likes to watch Lucy, and I felt like saying, you don't have no splaining to do to me. I get that. And audiences all over Texas have got that too. You know the EPA is all over agriculture. You know it's all over energy. You know it's all over manufacturing. And those dreams start to happen. You can see them on people's faces when you start to talk about getting the EPA out of Texas. You can see eyes lighting up and heads nodding and people smiling and saying, yeah, that's a beautiful thing. I asked a man in Greenville some weeks ago, he came up to talk to me after the event, and he said that he was a farmer, and I said, what would it mean to you and your business if we were to get the EPA out of Texas and only have Texas state law applying to you and your business? And he said, I don't think it'd make much difference. And I said, really, there's not a chemical or a substance or something that you used to use in farming that you can't get today? Make your business more profitable or your job a little bit easier? And he said, well, we used to use nitrate. Nitrate was a good substance, but people make bombs with it, so we can't use it anymore. And I said, well, how about we lock up the people that are blowing things up and we let the farmers use nitrate? I think we're all a little bit like the frog in the boiling pot of water. The water's been so hot for so long, we forgot that we used to be able to hop around and enjoy life. So we need to use that wisdom of the minds of men and start talking about what Texas ought to look like and what she could look like if she stood on her sovereignty again. I won that second debate not just because of the hard work that I had done, but because of work that Texans were doing. People were sending me information. I had a man from Houston who sent me some transportation policy stuff that was very powerful, because he's been very concerned about transportation, and he's outside of the box and he's looking in and he's seeing the flaws in the way that we do transportation in Texas. And he provided not the group political think that Austin is shoving at us and that they want us to believe about what's going on.